Hi GS students, in this video we are going to correct the exercise about transformation. Already we took two types of transformation. We took rotation and we took translation. I hope inshallah in the next term we are going to take dilation and similitude. So we have rotation and translation are done. Still we have two parts which are about dilation and similitude. Let's remember a little bit about translation and rotation, then we'll correct the exercise. What about a translation? So to have a translation, we have a translation by V vector. We call it TV. So if translation lil M, or we can write it translate TV lil M equals M prime, means M prime vector equals V vector. And if V vector, الأفكس of ZV vector equals B, then the complex transformation is of the form Z prime equals Z plus B. Now rotation. So we have a rotation with center omega and angle alpha. If we have the rotation of M equals M prime, this is omega, this is M, this is M prime, this is alpha. Rotation of M equals M prime. It means that omega M in distance equal omega M prime, not vectors. This distance equal this distance. And the angle omega M prime equal alpha plus 2k pi. Here you have to pay attention for the sense of rotation. This is the positive sense, like that, while in the negative sense is like that. Only if alpha different from 0, center is invariant. Center is invariant, doesn't vary, is invariant. If alpha equals pi, we call it central symmetry with center omega. Then the rotation is called a central symmetry with respect to omega. You see the figure in that way form. This is omega, this is M prime. So it is a rotation with center M, with center omega and angle pi. We can call it rotation, or we can call it central symmetry with respect to omega. Now complex transformation of the rotation. The complex form between Z prime equals AZ plus B, Z prime equal AZ plus B, A equals EI alpha, Z omega, Z of the center, equals B over 1 minus A. Now let's go to our exercise. Exercise 4, which is about rotation. Consider a triangle OAB, right isosceles, such that OA equal OB and OB equal pi over 2. So we have a right isosceles triangle. A right isosceles triangle. OA equal OB and angle OAOB equal pi over 2. This is the positive sense. This is the positive sense, like that. OAOB equal pi over 2 and OA equal OB. Then we draw it like that. The right angle is here, OA, OB, right isosceles triangle. Let I, midpoint of AB, I, midpoint of AB, this is I, J is the midpoint of OB, J midpoint of OB, and K is the midpoint of OA. K is the midpoint of OA. Here we have a rotation, R. R is a rotation. الاليمنتس تبعها يعني center I وangle pi over 2. T is a translation with vector half AB. So we have two types of transformations. So we have a rotation with center I. This is the center I, angle pi over 2, positive sense. And we have a translation by half AB. Half AB means either AI or IB, by half AB. So now بقلنا, and we have two other transformations. F equal composite of a rotation and a translation, and G is a composite of a translation and a rotation. They are not the same. R round T is different from T round R. Okay? Pay attention. R round T is different from T round R. Determine f of k. First part, we need to determine f of k. How to determine f of k? One minute, please. Okay, determine f of k. So f of k will be f of k equal, f is r round t of k. So first I have to find translation of k. This is k, translation of k by half AB. I draw from k a vector equal half AB. So translation of k will be j. You know that why kj equal half AB? You know from grade 8, midpoint theorem, kj, the line joining, the segment joining two midpoints is parallel to AB and equal to its half. So kj equal half AB vector. So translation of k is j. Since kj equal half AB, now rotation of j, I need to make a rotation of j with center I and angle pi over 2. So I join I to j. I rotate it by pi over 2 in the positive sense, like that here. And I take, so rotation of j equals k. Let's rotation of j equal k, since ij equal ik, and angle ij ik equals pi over 2. You know why this OKIJ is a square. You know that ij equal ik, well, angle ij ik equals pi over 2. Now, also in this exercise, we are going to calculate f of I. F of I equal r round t of I. So I need to make a translation of I. So first translation of I by half AB equal B. Translation of I, so translation of I equal B, since IB vector equal half AB. Then to make the translation of B, I join I to B. Then I rotate it by angle pi over 2 in the positive sense. I will get O. So rotation of B equal O, since IB equals IO and IBIO equal pi over 2. بالexam, you have to discuss why we have the following. Not necessary, not directly write the result. And f of A. To determine f of A also, f of A is r round translation of A. So r translation of A. Translation of A by half AB is I, since AI equal half AB. AI equal half AB. So we get translation of A equal I. I is the center of R, then the rotation of I equal I, since I is invariant by R. Now precise the nature of F and determine the characteristics elements. F is a composite of a translation and a rotation. And we know that the composite of a translation and a rotation is a rotation of angle. So precise the nature of F, we have to say that F is a rotation, since F is a composite of a rotation, of a translation and a rotation. The elements, we need to determine the center and the angle. The angle is pi over 2, it is the same as R, angle pi over 2. To know the center, we say like that. To know the center, here we have determined that f of k equal k. So k is invariant by f. So f is a rotation with center k and angle pi over 2. So f equal r round t. F is a composite of a translation and a rotation. Then f is a rotation of angle pi over 2, but f of k equal k, then f is a rotation with center k and angle pi over 2. Half point. Now part 2. Determine g of j first. G of j. G of j equal, g is t round r of j. بدي أعمل rotation of j first. Rotation of j with center I and angle pi over 2. So the rotation of is k. ليش is k؟ لأنه ij equal ik وangle ij ik equal pi over 2. So rotation of j is k. Now translation of k by half AB. Translation of k by half AB is j. So translation of k equal j. Why? Since kj equal half AB. Now I need to find g of O. Translation round rotation of O. Rotation of O with center I angle pi over 2 is A. Why is A? Because IO equals IA, angle IOIA equal pi over 2. Now, translation of A by half AB is I, since AI equal half AB. Now, precise the nature of G and determine its characteristics elements. Precise the nature and determine its characteristics elements. Since G is a composite of a rotation and a translation, then G is a rotation. Hidden nature. Precise the nature of G. Composite of a rotation and a translation is a rotation. Determine its elements. The angle is pi over 2. Since the angle of R is pi over 2, then the angle of G is pi over 2. Now to determine the center, here we determine that g of j, but g of j equal j, then g is invariant, then j is invariant by g, then g is a rotation of center j and angle pi over 2. So the composite of a rotation and a translation, or a translation and a rotation, is a rotation with the same angle and different centers. Now, part 3. Let H equal G round F inverse. نحن طلعت معنا ال F هي rotation with the center K and angle pi over 2. Then F inverse is a rotation with the center K and angle minus pi over 2. So G round F inverse. G round F inverse is F inverse is a rotation with center K and angle minus pi over 2. So F equals rotation with center K and angle pi over 2. Opposite or F inverse is a rotation with the same center with angle minus pi over 2. H of O equal G round F inverse of O. If F inverse of O, this is O, we need to rotate O. بنعمل rotate O, this is O. بنعملها rotation with angle with center K and angle minus pi over 2. It will be I. So F inverse of O equals I. Why I? Because KO equals KI. K is the center of F and ko ki equal minus pi over 2. Now g of I, g is a rotation of center j. I need to find a rotation. Then g of I, since g is a rotation, how now we have proved g is a rotation with center j. So g of I, this I need to make a rotation of I with center j angle pi over 2. It will be b. It will be b. Since ji equals jb, angle jb equals pi over 2. So h of O is b. And find its nature. So we have calculated h of O and find its nature. So h is a composite of a rotation of two rotations. Then h is a rotation with center omega and angle pi over 2 plus minus pi over 2. يعني تطلع الانجل 0. Whenever the angle is 0, we say that h is a translation. We say h is a translation since the angle is 0. So G round F inverse. G is rotation with center J angle pi over 2. And F inverse is a rotation, round rotation with center K angle minus pi over 2. Then G round F inverse is a rotation of angle. The sum of the two angles, pi over 2 minus pi over 2 is 0. So G round F inverse is a translation. To know the translation vector, we have determined h of O equals b. So G round F inverse equal translation by vector OB. H of O equal b. So G round F inverse is equal translation by vector OB. Denote by n equal G round F inverse of k. What is the nature of OK and B? So H of K equals N. مثل هون لقينا H of O equals تلاقي معنا ال H is a translation with vector OB, I think here. So here, since N equals G round F inverse of K, means Kn equals OB. Kn vector equals OB vector. Kn vector, N will be here. This is Kn here, N here. Kn vector equal OB vector. So then OB, OK and B is a parallelogram since Kn vector equal OB vector. But angle O equal 90, so OK and B will be a rectangle. So Kn equal OB, so OK and B is a parallelogram with KOB equal 90, then OK and B is a rectangle. The last part, suppose that the plane is referred to a direct orthonormal system OAB. Write the complex transformations of R, T, and F. R, T, and F. As I have mentioned at the beginning of this video that root O is 0, 0. Here, since the orthonormal system, A 1, 0, B 0, 1, K half 0, J 0, half, I is half, half. These are the coordinates. Z prime equal AZ plus B. I know that the angle of the rotation is pi over 2, then A equals EI pi over 2, equal cosine pi over 2 plus I sine pi over 2. Cosine pi over 2 is 0, sine pi over 2 is 1 times I, we get I. So Z prime equal IZ plus B. Z prime equal IZ plus B. To calculate B, I know that F or R عنده center I, but I is the center of R, so Z not J هي ZI هذه ZI equals B over 1 minus A, half plus half I equal B over 1 minus A لقيت لك معنى I. B equals cross multiplying, half times 1 is half times minus I minus half I. Half I times 1 is half I times minus I بتصير minus half I square يعني plus half, we get 1. Z prime equal AZ plus B, so Z prime equal IZ plus B. Now عندنا translation هي by half AB vector. The AB vector is minus 1 minus 1, XB minus XA, YB minus YA. Half AB is minus half. So Z prime equals Z plus half AB, since it is a translation. So Z prime equals Z minus half plus half I. Now we have F is a rotation with center K angle pi over 2. So Z prime equal AZ plus B. Since the angle pi over 2, then A equal EI pi over 2, which is I, Z prime equal IZ plus B. But K is the center, I can say ZK equals B over 1 minus A. ZK equal half equal B على 1 minus A is I. So B equal half times 1 is half. Half times minus I is minus half I. Then Z prime equal IZ plus half minus half I. Okay, this is all for this exercise. I wish you a happy new year and Merry Christmas. We'll meet after New Year, inshallah. Have a good time. I hope after in term 2, not online, we will go back to school. I hope.